welcome to Juice Nothing's Overhyped Album of the Week. I'm Jared Woods, and I skim music so you don't have to. Today we're talking about TV on the Radio's new album, Seeds. Before I get into that, I want to tell you my TV on the Radio story. When I first moved to London in 2008, I just looked in the newspaper and I was like, oh my god, TV on the Radio are playing tonight at Shepherd's Bush. But it was sold out. I went there anyway, and I found a guy outside selling tickets for extortionate prices. And I said, how much, man? And he was like, oh, 40 quid. I was like, I didn't have 40 quid, and I opened my wallet, so I was like, look, I don't have 40 quid, and he just reaches in and takes everything out of it. He took all the money, he took all the change, he took all the notes, and he's like, that'll do. Gives me the ticket. I'm like, that's fine. Go watch the show. The show is amazing. Absolutely incredible. Quite punk rock, actually. Then when I left, I went to the tube station, tapped my travel card, and didn't work. I had no money on my travel card. I had no money in my wallet. And I was like, shit, I'm now stuck in Shepherd's Bush at like close to midnight. It's not the safest area in London. I don't even have a phone because I'm new to the country, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Think, Jared, what do you have? And then I remembered I had a box of cigarettes. So I just walked and I found the nearest person smoking. I said, I'm fucked. Will you please buy this for 2 quid? Girl was like, okay, that's fine. Gave me 2 quid. Got my ticket home. The next time someone tells you that cigarettes kill, tell them no, cigarettes save lives. TV on the Radio are an indie rock band. They were formed in Brooklyn, New York in 2001. I just want to give a groupie warning. I think they're one of the best bands in the world right now. They're actually underrated, almost on the Radiohead vibe. The fact that they're kind of the art side of rock, as well as being like, you know, commercial enough that if you heard on the radio, you wouldn't be like, what the hell is this? I absolutely just love them with all my heart. I die for them. I want to rub my face on TV on the radio. I get naked to TV on the radio sometimes. If I'm having erectile dysfunction problems, I put on TV on the radio. I love TV on the radio more than I love most people in the world. So I'm a big fan. TV on the Radio are highly critically acclaimed. I mean, I first got into them in 2006, Return to Cookie Mountain, which is still to this date my favorite album, and it's by far the best album from 2006 in my opinion. And a lot of people agreed. Eventually it got an 88 on Metacritic. I mean, it was so good that even David Bowie was on it. Then in 2008 they released Dear Science, which was even more critically acclaimed. I mean, in my opinion, it wasn't quite as good, but a lot of other people's opinions, it was even better. It was Album of the Year by Rolling Stone, by The Guardian, by Spin, by MTV, by Entertainment Weekly, by Pitchfork's Readers Poll, and it's also got an 88 on Metacritic. So I mean, that's just like, what? And then in 2011 they released 9 Types of Light, which in my opinion was even less so than Dear Science. Still really good though, please don't get me wrong. And a lot of people agreed, but it got an 82 on Metacritic, which is like, you're not exactly going to go, well, that sucks. Unfortunately, at this point, things get a bit weird. Gerard Smith, who is a multi-instrument, no one in the band has a specific role, but it was announced in 2011 that he had lung cancer. And 9 days after 9 Types of Light, he unfortunately passed away at the age of 36. And, you know, that's just such a tragedy, and obviously left TV on the Radio and the fans in a kind of weird position of going, well, is this the end? Is this what's going to happen? But thankfully they did decide to keep going. They weren't going on without him. They never replaced him, which is admirable. This year, not so long ago, we got Seeds, which was their new album finally. And all in all, it's been quite disappointing, the reviews, I must say. They're still really good. 4 out of 5 from AllMusic, 4 out of 5 from The Guardian, 7.2 from Pitchfork, 8 out of 10 from NME, and all in all, that's 77 on Metacritic, which is still like, you know, if you're a band, you'd be chuffed. But here's the thing, it actually pisses me off because I completely disagree. I love this album. There's a certain joy that TV on the Radio had, very specific, you know, recognizable sound. And there's a good energy to this record. It's quite upbeat. The lyrics to me are some of the best lyrics I've heard. Sometimes TV on the Radio lyrics can be touch and go. It's probably the most consistent TV on the Radio album I've ever heard. No song kind of, It's an exciting, happy record, I find, which is not what you expect in context of their history. You know, people say that it's less challenging, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I consider it quite euphoric in a way. and more playful. I mean, there's quite a varied bit of sounds. You got a song like Lazare, that's quite punk rock, and then you look at a song like Could You, kind of reminds me of Beatles meets the Friends theme song. And in context, the whole album, it just works as a unit. And so personally, I just want to say to all those critics that are saying that it's not as memorable, I just want to say, to summarize, I'm going to give this album a 7. A 7. A 7 sounds good. And with that, I want to actually, unfortunately, from behalf of me and Colin, this is going to be the last album review video I do. This whole thing was an experiment to me, which didn't necessarily fail, and I learned a lot, but it is a lot of hard work, and I don't particularly enjoy doing them. I want to say that there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out, and also at some point I will start doing reviews again with a different approach. I have an idea, but I do recommend that you subscribe. Hey, because a lot of stuff I'm planning to do in the future will be YouTube related. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's been watching these. Really appreciate it. And music is subjective, and I reserve the right to change my mind.